Got traffic there.
Blaster, just take it up to the departure end of the runway, then a left turn and a lowest downwind. Cessna over the threshold, coming up on the white dot, at or beyond the white dot, left turn first available. I got a high wind coming up on about a half-mile final, clear to land at or beyond. Traffic on the left face, you're following a Cessna down, low off your left. Square it up just a little bit, and then we're going to get you in. Start your descent, though. Start your descent on the base. Traffic on final, give me follow on base. Base traffic, start turning toward the numbers now. High wing coming up on quarter-mile final, take it all the way down to the green. Cessna taxiing on the green, expedite down to the next hard surface. Get me some speed, there you go, 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 go fast. This is going to be good. I got traffic on a mile final. You're following traffic ahead and to your right. High wing coming up on the threshold. Take it all the way down to the green dot.
5 Charlie Sierra, 2 mile final.
A mile final, turn north, and we're going to just make you, we're going to bring you back around. Jet traffic's coming up on about a mile and a half final. Runway 9er clear to land.
Okay, all right, let's listen up, guys. If you're on final for runway 9, I want you to offset to the left. I got a jet that's landing on runway 9. The jet's cleared to land runway 9 if you can make it. If not, just continue straight ahead. It looks like you're going around for the jet. That's fine, that's fine, that's fine.
Oh, we have one right in front of us, sir.
Dragger, let's see, what we got, a tricycle, put it down, tricycle, put it down, tail dragger, down to the green dot, then a left turn. Short final here, you cleared to land on 9, all the way to the white dot, go down to the white dot. Find somebody to follow out here. Canard, just come to the runway and I might have to just send you around. That'll be fine. And for the jet, you just want to stay in this pattern or you want to go back out for an instrument approach?
Stay in a pattern, Charlie Sierra.
All right, just stay with me here for a minute. And my tail dragger, let's see, over the numbers, go down to the green. And Canard's going to have to go around. Canard, go around. Canard, go around. Canard, go around. And my high wing here over the runway, keep it airborne. Keep it airborne. You do not descend. Do not descend. You got a fast guy behind you. Do not descend. There you go. Keep it airborne. Keep it airborne. As soon as the guy behind you gets slowed down, I'm going to put you down. So keep it airborne. The one that just passed the white dot, make a left turn on the hard surface. All right, my high wing tail dragger, you can put it down now. You can put it down now. And Charlie Sierra, let me get you about a mile off. Let's see, Charlie Sierra, I lost. There you are. Make a left-hand turn. I'll try to resequence you here on the downwinds. We'll see how it looks. Short final, you're clear to land runway 9 on the white dot. Clear to land on the white dot. There you go. And the tricycle left on the hard surface and follow the flagman. Welcome. Thanks for being part of the show. And let's see, just find somebody to follow out follow on the final. And as you get close to the runway, if it's not going to work, we're going to send you around and then try to resequence you. Now, who else got sent around that's not back on the downwind? The Canard?
Yeah, Canard.
All right, Canard, there's a Gulfstream up there that went around too. I just lost sight of him, but you're going to make kind of a left-hand turn and stay low. I think Charlie Sierra, what's your altitude?
3,200.
Okay, that'll be fine. Just maintain VFR. I don't know what else is up there above you. Probably most everybody's down here, so just make a left-hand turn. We'll try to get you back here.
Canard's got the jet in sight.
Okay, the RB, maybe an RB-10, whatever's here on final. Keep your speed up and go all the way down to the, aim for the green dot for me. Actually, keep your speed up. There's a guy behind you. Aim for the green dot, and I'm sure that's plenty of room for you to land on runway 9. You're clear to land on runway 9. Number 2, you're going to go down to the white dot. Follow the white dot. Actually, you know what? That's 1,500 feet. You're going to land at the white dot. The spacing looks adequate here. 2 guys on final. You're kind of tight there. Keep each other in sight, and you're going to aim for the white dot. If it's not going to work, we'll come up with a plan B. We might have to send you around. The second guy behind you out there in about a 2-mile final. Are you slow enough to be able to follow that guy in front of you? You need to go around.
Yeah, follow.
Well, I probably shouldn't ask that because I had about 5 guys answer me, so I should know better than that after 35 years, you would think, right? All right, so let me see. The guy who's number 1, it's number 1. What kind of airplane is he? An RV type. All right, RV type. Keep it airborne for me. Keep it airborne. And I got a fast guy behind you. The number 2 guy over the trees there. Go ahead and put it down on the numbers. Put it down on the numbers. My first guy just coming up on the numbers at the over the grass at the numbers. I want you to keep it.
T-minus 1 minute and counting.
Hello.
Four, 3, 2, 1.
There you go. Okay, hello and welcome. And as you would have noticed, we are here, we're live, and there's already been a few mistakes. So sorry about that. It's not going to be super smooth tonight, but we'll do what we can. And we got some low-tech stuff. Before we go on, Ed, you had a question.
I had a question.
You did. It was about...
He's forgotten.
I love it when he does this to me.
Wasn't it about an anniversary?
It was. Yeah, it wasn't a question. It was a suggestion. It's the fact that we realised that, this week, is the 3rd anniversary since we started the live stream. So, so I figured that we would ask the question. It's like, who's been watching the live stream for a year? So put your hand up if you've been watching the live stream for a year. That's all right. Don't be scared. It's okay.
Probably, there's only 4 people.
I know. Yeah, it's a bit worrying. Keep your hand up if you've been watching the live stream for 2 years. Have you been watching the live stream for 3 years?
Oh,
yeah.
Wow.
Hey.
Fantastic. Congratulations. You get to join the team.
Yeah. We've only really been out. I think I've only been out like one Thursday night in the last 3 years.
I know.
Grim, isn't it? Still, better carry on. I have to say a huge thank you this time to Toast. We have to say a huge thank you to Philippe Pullman. We have to say a huge thank you for Simon Keeling for coming along. And, of course, to Sky Demon for their sponsorship of the top tip, as it were. And as soon as I can scroll down to the right video, just taking a little bit of time, I'm going to play you the top tip and direct my microphone to the speaker in our high-tech sound system.
Hi, I'm Tim from Sky Demon. Welcome to today's top tip. Sometimes you might want to find an airfield based on what sort of fuel it has or the price of the fuel. Press Find a Destination and then switch to Fuel Availability here. I'm going to hide this and zoom out a bit so we can see lots of information. You can see here we've got Avgas 100LL turned on, and all these places on the map that have the fuel are shown with little speech bubbles. The cheapest prices are in green, and the most expensive prices are in red. If you want, you can turn on UL91 as well, and you'll see those additionally highlighted in the speech bubbles. For more information on any of our features, go to skydemon.aero and choose Help and Support.
Oh, there you go.
So one of the viewers suggested to me, it's like, why doesn't Tim do sat-nav in cars? Because wouldn't it be great if Tim was like, at the roundabout, turn left.
Turn right. Yeah, no, he has got one of those voices, hasn't he? Okay, so let's just check the magic. For the people watching from home, as you can see, the background's different. And I think if I click this button, look, there's the live audience. So everybody wave. Ooh, there you go. Look, just to prove it. Perfect, isn't it? In that case, I think are we time for weather?
We're time for weather.
It's time for weather.
Yeah.
If only there was a weather. Simon.
Here to sing his greatest hits.
I might just keep my clothes on as well. You never know, do you?
Please, not tonight, Simon.
I do. I feel like a rubbish Carol Vorderman up here, but you're going to have to put up with me anyway. It's great to see you all. Thanks for everybody coming along. Should we take a look at what the weather's going to be doing this weekend? It actually isn't that bad for flying this weekend. It looks as if we should find some fairly good conditions. Come on in, get it sorted. It doesn't feel the same unless it's presenter Tetris either, does it, with the squares moving everywhere? But anyway, so I've put this up first of all. Right, this is not some sort of magical mystery tour I'm taking you on. This is a SKU-T diagram. You hear me go on about these all the time. But I thought, given the amazing clouds that we've had over the last few days, the cumulus, the cumulonimbus clouds, you've all seen them, those great white towers. I thought I'd show you what we look at as forecasters, and it's one of these. This is a SKU-T diagram. It shows us a vertical look through the atmosphere of temperature and dew point. Temperature's red, dew point is blue. And this grey line, I'm hoping you can just about make it out there, just to the right. That tells us the atmosphere is unstable. And as forecasters, what we look for is how far to the right that grey line is to tell us how unstable the air is and how high the clouds are going to go. Now, you can see here that it starts off to the right, almost at the surface, which is telling us that the atmosphere is very unstable. But the beauty of these diagrams, and the reason that we as forecasters get so excited about them, is when that grey line keeps on going all the way up, look, there it is, all the way up to 400 millibars. So that's getting up to about 35 to 40,000 feet in the atmosphere. And those are the tops of the showers that we've seen over the last few days. It's brilliant in it. Love those charts. Okay, on to the next one then. And this is the forecast chart for Friday. And we've got a northeasterly flow on Friday, this weak occluded front that's coming in across East Anglia and the southeast. That's going to be bringing with it some showers. They'll move westwards during the course of the day, but things should improve out towards the east a little bit later on. Now, north and west of that, actually, we get some pretty good conditions throughout the day. Bases of around 3,000 feet, tops around about 8,000 feet. But as this system comes in, probably those bases lowering to about 2,000 feet, tops at about 12,000 feet. On to Saturday, and for Saturday, moving on very swiftly, I'll get a big spanner out in a minute and give it a kick. Is it coming up in? Is it there?
That one.
There we are. Look at that.
Sorry,
beautiful. There's our occluded front. It's a very, very weak affair. It's just like being on telly proper, this, isn't it? That's that weak occluded front. Not a lot left on it, just a little bit of cloud on Saturday morning. But for most of the country, high pressure's in control. So that means it's going to be a fair day. Base is 4,000 feet, tops about 8,000 feet. Pretty damn good for flying, I reckon, throughout most of Saturday. And then finally, on to Sunday. Well, fronts mean one thing. You see them coming in from the west here. That cold front, it's quite a weak feature, but it's going to be annoying. Base is 1,500 to 2,000 feet, tops at about 8 to 10,000 feet along the front. Some embedded cunims in there as well that we've got to be careful of. But to the east of that, actually, it looks pretty fair. Yeah, there might be an occasional shower across the Midlands and parts of Wales and northern England, but generally, it looks as if it is going to be a fair one for Sunday as well. I couldn't have ordered better weather for the live stream today, could I? And as they say, spring draws on.
Thank you, Simon.
I sometimes feel like your catchphrase should be, I love a scooty.
On a T-shirt.
You should definitely get some T-shirts. We could sell them alongside the Ed Wins T-shirts that we haven't got
Which
yet.
we still haven't made
No, we
yet.
still haven't managed it. Just checking, team. Is anyone looking at the comments? Is everything working?
Yeah, no,
in
the comments
internet land?
are working. The saddest comment so far, Stuart Rue, not for the fact he said it's got the vibe of an early edition of Top Gear, is that Stuart broke his toe and can't be here.
Oh no, a gardening incident.
Gardening accident.
I know,
Oh.
in a gardening accident. What did you do, Stuart?
Get well soon. Get well soon, Stuart. So, looking at Johnny's running order, I see that the next thing is really a promotion for the club, and I'm sure that everyone here is a member of the Flyer Club, and if not, they should be. We need to explain to you why it's a good thing. Now, I think I might have seen Sarah in the audience earlier. Sarah, are you there? Would you like to come and do this bit? Have to go that way, otherwise we'll trip over Ed's camera. Sarah's the club champion and the person who picks up the phone and organises landing fees and guests and all sorts of other stuff. So, Sarah, why should people join?
So join the Fly Club today. There's loads of benefits. The biggest one is the landing vouchers every month. So we have about 4, 5, sometimes 6 landing vouchers every month. And this month you've got Audley End, Barton, Manchester Aerodrome. You've got Ballardo in Scotland, which, by the way, is pronounced Ballardo, because I was thinking it was going to be Balladoo, because I was thinking it's got to be Scottish, right? Yeah, and I called the guy, and I was like, can you just clear this up for me? Is it Balladoo or not? And he said it's actually Ballardo.
Can I just apologise to anybody who's Scottish? Yeah.
No, I'm really sorry. I thought it was quite a good accent.
I like that.
Yeah. And I spoke to him, and he said, actually, and he said it in a really posh voice, and he said, Ballardo.
Ballardo.
There we go. And also we've got Dunk as well, and not Heathrow. We got Peterborough Sibson. So we got some really, really good airfields. And I've got a couple of interviews with airfield owners, which should be coming out in the next couple of days, which will give everyone a bit more information so they're well informed to fly in. Also, we've got webinars. So we run monthly webinars on different topics. And this month's webinar is going to be on flying further into Europe. And that's going to be with Dave White on 30th of May. So that's a Tuesday evening. So yeah, join today and make the most of all the benefits that we've got to offer. And yeah, the more members we have, the more we can do. So join today.
Absolutely. And the landing fees are sponsored by Poolies. So thank you very much, Poolies, for sponsoring the landing fees. Isn't that Brilliant. So seriously, if you're watching this and watching this here or watching this outside and you're not a member, it's only £5 a month, which we think is a bargain for everything.
David Eade says, get everyone who's not in the club to raise their hand.
That's
harsh.
That's harsh.
Or do a shot of vodka.
Everyone's in the club, David.
Yeah. Jeff Bridges said, "Can I try 27 right at LHR, please?"
Yeah, go for it.
Yeah,
Go for it.
we did not endorse that behaviour.
No, we did. It's fine. It'll be fine. Just tell them Ed said it'll be fine. Okay, so what have we got coming up next?
You must have news.
Must be news time.
It is.
Okay.
Dave White, talking about the webinar, says he's good, I'm told.
Was that Mark Greenfield?
No, Dave
White. Okay, news.
So the first story is about some free Scottish airfields. They are Ashake Airfield on the Isle of Skye, sometimes called Broadford, Dornoch on the east coast of the Highlands, and Plockton on the west coast. The reason these are in the news or being discussed is because there's been a report recently to the Highland Council, which owns and operates these airfields. And the thing is, the council is a bit worried about the risk and the liabilities it's got running these airfields. I mean, it's a council. It's not an airfield operator, really. So it's been looking at what it should do. It's also the matter that it doesn't make any money out of these airfields. At least it says it doesn't, according to the figures it's shown. And so it's wondering what to do with them. Now, the one on Skye, they think they're going to... There was once commercial air services running there by Loganair to Glasgow. There's a possibility of that coming back at some point, so the council is very happy to keep that one going. Dornoch, over on the east coast, is a little bit more difficult for them. It's currently very close to the town of Dornoch and also close to a golf course, Royal Dornoch, which actually looks after the airfield most of the time. However, the council have said that, or this report said, that if they don't find someone to take on the operating it for them this financial year, the coming financial year, then they may have to close it as an airfield. The third one, Plockton, is like a jewel in the crown for the Western Highlands. It's over on, it's quite close to Skye. It's just north of Skye, and it's a beautiful airfield. We've got a picture of it here, shot by a chap called Miscellaneous, who's on the Flyer Forum.
He takes a lot of pictures, doesn't he?
He takes a lot of pictures. Yep. Plockton is currently operated by the airfield, but there's a lease taken by a helicopter company. But talking to Mark Saunders, who's here tonight, Mark probably flies more than any of us, and he's been in there quite a few times. He says it's one of these beautiful little airfields with a lovely cafe close by. It's one of those places you have to go to for flying up the west coast of Scotland. So it's one we really do not want to lose. At the moment, the council's yet to make a decision about what it's going to do. So we'll keep an eye on that.
Not good. Not good.
Good, no.
Free money, Ed.
Free money. Paul Cadell, king of airfield, says three of those airfields are three of his favourites.
Where is Paul Cadell? He could have flown down, couldn't he?
Yeah,
He
should have. I'm surprised he's not here.
He could have used the Heathrow voucher.
Yeah, and he would. He would. Yes, free money. So good news. The CAA have extended the electronic conspicuity rebate scheme. So obviously that was coming to an end. That's come to an end twice now and been extended both times. And this time they've gone, no, we've still got more money to give away. And how often do you hear the CAA say that? So you've got until end of March next year to buy your electronic conspicuity device and to put in a claim for it. And you can get up to £250 back. So if you haven't got something EC, then think about buying it and getting some free money. Second thing from the CAA, and I've got to find my notes here because this is more complex. There's a new safety sense leaflet on distraction. And that's basically, have we got an image for that or not?
There is.
He's distracted.
No,
Ian's already distracted.
There is an image for that.
Is there?
Quick, find it while I read about it.
Does it look like a safety sense?
It does.
Yes. So CAA have published
got
an
it.
updated safety sense leaflet providing pilots with right strategies to help avoid distraction and interruption, to be more aware of the dangers and reduce the risk to your flying. Consider mitigations within your threat and error management approach. And you can find more information at the safety sense leaflet section of the website.
It's a good little practical slide they've got up there.
I know.
We could, if I'd have known that was existing before, we could have worked a little. We could have acted it out.
Yeah.
We could have.
Have you actually read the story? You've been a bit busy today, have you?
Yeah, no, I haven't.
It's actually one of the really interesting safety sense leaflets. They're all interesting, but this one is really interesting. You might think that distractions and interruptions, they don't come very high up the scale of things that can go wrong, spoil your day. But in fact, very easily they can if you read it. There's an example in there of someone who was interrupted during his walk around, forgot to take the gus lock off the elevator and tried to take off. Didn't go very well. So
No.
Wow.
it's a good one. It's a good
I
one
thought you
to
were going to say forgot to take the tow bar off, because there's been a few of those, haven't
been
there?
a few of those,
Anyone
yes.
here ever done that? I haven't, I have to say. Not yet, anyway. No.
Quick one. So going back to Sky Echo, show of hands, who has used the CAA rebate?
Wow. So there's still some people who can buy some electronic security things.
You can buy something for your airplane and get £250 off. I realise in airplane terms that's kind of buys you a washer or something. But you know, it's 250 quid, isn't it?
Definitely.
So next story, this one's mine, isn't it? We got an email the other day. I think everyone here would have got an email as well, probably, saying that the NATS have decided if you want to apply for a NOTAM, presumably for your airfield or some other activity, you now can't do it by email anymore. You have to use AFPEX. Anyone here remember AFPEX? Anyone here use AFPEX? Really? Oh, wow. That's quite impressive. Anyone here like AFPEX? No.
I think wasn't AFPEX retired with abacuses?
I think
and,
it was
and
like
sextants and things like that.
It was. Yeah. I mean, I think it's kind of one thing to make people use it if it's their job, because you know you're not supposed to enjoy your jobs, are you, really, and everything. But I mean, we do. But but trying to get everyone to use AFPEX, and they're going to open it up to the NOTAM section for people. It's just, I mean, what mad idea. It's got to be one of the work. It makes Selma look brilliant, doesn't it? I think personally. So we do have a slide here just in case you went. Nats, welcome to Flight Planning Online. You're going to give up and not go flying because this is such a terrible system.
That looks like the internet from 1992.
It's terrible, isn't it?
Yeah.
I don't know why they've done it, but it's mad. So it'll be something else they can lose, like the flight plans with Border Force and
John Milner's got a good comment. He said, "I've tried AFPEX. It's as user friendly as a cornered rat."
I mean, like in the early, just a little aside here. In the early days when NATS were bringing in AFPEX, does anyone remember what happened before AFPEX for pilots? This is not for air traffic people. There was like the FBU, flight briefing unit or something. You used to fax the flight plan off to them, and they sometimes phone you up and go, "Mr. Seeger, I don't know, you seem to be taking off yesterday," and stuff like that. And you go, "Oh, sorry, correct it." And NATS were doing this kind of sell thing. You go, "Hey, come on up, we'll explain AFPEX and how brilliant it is and how powerful it is and how great it is." And it's not to get rid of the flight briefing units at all. They're going to stay. Don't worry. No one's going. And then all of a sudden, they introduced AFPEX and the flight briefing units went. And that was it. So, wasn't very impressed with NATS over there.
Paul Goodell says, "Just while we're in London, nip around to the Science Museum to access it."
Not a bad idea. What's the next story then?
I think it's BGA.
BGA. Oh, no, the British Gliding Association.
Yeah.
Yes, that's my story. So later this year, there's going to be a sailplane pilot's license introduced, and the CAA has delegated the authority to issue these licenses to the British Gliding Association. So the British Gliding Association has now got what's called delegated status, and it will issue these licenses. The CAA and the BGA say they're now working towards implementing the license, and a chap from the CAA said, "We welcome the opportunity of working more closely with the BGA as part of this enhanced delegation decision." Could be that they're going to delegate more things, more license issues to other people. Do you think?
Yeah, I think given the amount of people that there aren't working at the CEA, they need to delegate it. There's no one else to do the stuff, is there really?
Yeah. You have to say that the BGA is a very well-run organisation.
Yeah. No, absolutely. Next
I'm just thinking, can anyone think of, if the CA is delegating things, maybe we can think of things that they can delegate to Ian?
Their IT.
Yeah.
Production values.
Production values. Yeah. No. Okay. Safe. No. I wouldn't. No, that would be a bad thing, wouldn't it? Okay. What's next then?
Airability. So they've got a date set for this year for their ball, 18th of November. It's held at the Hilton T5, which is a new venue for them. They were at the Sofitel beforehand. 6 p.m. till late, and it's their 30th anniversary. We might get to 30 years of live stream one day.
Can you imagine? You must. I am definitely going to get to 30 years of freaking. I'm surprised I got to 3.
It'll be like, how many lanyards can you hang on your Zimmer?
Hands up, who's been to the Airability Ball? The Airability Ball at Sofitel.
A few hands.
Okay, so a few hands. I think I've been every year for the last a lot of years. It's an absolutely fantastic event. I can't remember how much tickets are, 150 quid.
150 quid,
which is, not cheap, but in aviation terms, it's hardly an aviation unit, is it, almost? But it's a really, really good evening, and Airability is just a fantastic charity. And if you haven't been, then it's a good chance to put on your posh clothes and go for a night, and basically, if you're someone who likes a glass of wine, to drink too much of it. Which occasionally happens. So I can highly recommend that. So get your tickets now, and I'll see you there.
Yep. And the second bit of Airability news is Brian Wheeler, who I think is the current COO of Airability. He's just completed this week, on the 5th anniversary of him being told he probably wouldn't ever walk again. He's done a walking marathon around New York, which he did 26.2 miles in 8.5 hours, which is pretty good. So well done, Brian. And obviously he was a guest maybe 2 months ago.
Yeah, maybe a bit longer than that, but yeah, very good guest.
He was a good guest, wasn't he?
Yeah.
Okay, so have we got any more news? Or is that the end of the news for tonight?
Could that possibly be the end of
That's
the
the end of the news, yes.
That's the end of the news. In that case,
There's a very nervous-looking man at the back.
it's time to get our guest in, who tonight is Philippe Pullman. Philippe Pullman, an extraordinary character. No one knows whether he comes from Holland, America, France, or England. He's kind of nationless. He's,
accent again, you can take a picture.
he's done a whole bunch of flying in the US, a whole bunch of flying throughout Europe. You just need to sit down. It's not that difficult.
We don't sit in America.
Oh, sorry, Dave.
Hi.
So let's clear this up. Are you Dutch, English, American, French, or what?
I feel like I can only answer incorrectly. I'm Dutch American.
Okay.
I was born in France. That's and I lived a long time in Spain and Switzerland. Yeah.
You don't.
But I now live in England. Yeah.
In England.
And I've been here for 13 years this time.
Okay.
Yeah.
Brilliant. Well, if you don't know, Philippe runs Echelon Air at Biggin Hill, Lone Mountain, which is a sales organization if you need to buy another airplane, and does
or sell. We sell them too. We don't just buy them. I'm just so everybody knows. We do both the buying and this. Okay.
Was anybody confused about that up to that point? I didn't think so. Yeah, the audience is not American.
Okay, I'll raise it a bar.
Yeah. And you've done a shed load of flying basically throughout all of those places, and recently in the SF-50 jet as well as the piston. So I thought it'd be interesting to talk to you a bit about your flying and a bit about the differences between flying in the US and Europe.
So when we were talking about doing this, we promised each other that we wouldn't turn this into a moan.
Yeah, absolutely. We're going to stay positive.
So who's flown in the US before? Oh, that's
That's
a good one. Well done. And
so
who's flown here? No, I'm just kidding. That's a bad question.
Yeah, no one can afford to fly here. So I've got a question for you.
Yeah.
I've done a bit of flying in the US, but there's something I keep getting wrong. I was flying last time I was flying in Florida, but Winter Haven. So Winter Haven, Kissimmee, Ocala, Jacksonville Executive. Can't remember the name of the other place that we went to. Fort Lauderdale, I think. Every single one of them had the same problem when I phoned them up. I phoned up and I said, I'd like to get PPR, please. None of them understood. What am I doing wrong?
Yeah, you're using the wrong words.
Okay.
You just gotta
what?
Land. This, yeah.
What
No
was that?
PPR.
And how do you know what the landing fee is?
Oh yeah, that one. You just take off again. Yeah, they're okay with that. Turns out you don't have to pay what is pennies to operate an airport to land.
Yeah.
Or you don't have to PPR. There is a world where that's not necessary. It's actually, the world is outside. For the most part, it's outside of the UK's borders is that world. I mean, you go to France and you also don't really have to PPR, or Germany, or Spain, or...
I was flying in North Las Vegas once, which at the time was really, really busy.
Yeah.
Just tons and tons of traffic. And I was trying to get through to the tower. And eventually I spoke to someone, so I'd like to book out, please. And he sort of chewed my ear off.
First, you found the tower?
I found the tower. I found the tower number. It took a while to get it, but you don't tend to book out either, do you?
Man, they figured out how to separate traffic just purely by radio calls, not by 2-3 days in advance of a PPR notification. And I think it's pretty advanced. It probably speaks to the FAA's significant budget compared to.
I think that is the thing. I mean, everyone keeps the booking out, booking in thing. Everyone, on a serious note, everyone in the UK tells me that harks back to, is it Michael Bentine's son, who went missing somewhere on the south coast and nobody knew about it?
I think you might be right.
Yeah,
but is it? But then it begs the question: does
that mean
PPR? If you don't show up on your PPR, do they launch search and rescue? Is that what happens?
No, but they do. Well,
because I've called, I've PPR'd, and I've forgotten to cancel. And
yeah, I had a phone call.
Nobody's searching for me.
Got telling off.
So, yeah.
Yeah.
But were they going to launch it?
Well, they say they will, but
it does vary. Some places don't do anything, and other places get very nukey. Like I think I was half an hour late or something. They weren't that happy about that
because were you put in a hold because there were so many airplanes landing? But what was there? Why were they upset? I think you showed up.
Well, they were upset because they were worried about me, and they were worried about me because I was half an hour later than I said I was going to be. But you know what it's like when you go to the airfield to get your aircraft out. I mean, I'm lucky at the moment; I can just pull my aircraft straight out. But when I was at Kemble, trying to figure out when you could actually take off, it would depend whether your aircraft was at the front of the hangar or at the back of the hangar. If it was back of the hangar, you could add 30-40 minutes to the whole experience. And then if you needed fuel as well, et cetera.
Yeah, for sure. Or that you just had an extra cup of coffee, right? And your VFR, and you didn't have to talk to anybody to get there. Yeah. We've already started our moaning. And
no, we're not moaning. I'm going to in that case, just to level things up, I'm going to moan a little bit about America.
Yeah,
as well.
It's high vis. Is that you're going to praise high vis?
Oh, yeah, because I think high vis is probably no. No, what I was going to say that I love flying in America, and the flying is absolutely fantastic. But there is a bit of an issue, which is if you leave the West Coast and, for example, to fly to the East Coast, and you fly for 3 or 4 hours and you land, and then you get a car, and it's a free crew car a lot of the time, you still drive past the same strip malls, selling the same food, speaking in the same language.
True.
Whereas here in Europe, you can, literally an hour and a half, and you can be in 2 or 3 different countries, different languages, different cultures, different food, different experiences. And the richness of that, and the ability of general aviation to give you that magic carpet compared to the US, which gives you the magic castle that sells burgers or something.
Oh, you're absolutely right. I mean, I want to come back to the magic of flying in Europe because there's a lot of it. And, I choose to fly here. So you're absolutely right. But let's come back to how you're getting from the West Coast to the East Coast. And if you're doing it in your own airplane in 3 to 4 hours, then surely there's no strip mall. You're taking a helicopter to your final destination.
3 to 4 hours.
I mean, that's a fast airplane or a big plane. Yeah.
No,
so you're doing quite well.
I think it took me about 3 days, actually.
Yeah. But it's a long country, big country.
Everywhere you stop, it's the same experience. You stay in the same hotel chain, et cetera.
Yeah, there's a bit of sameness in the U.S. for sure. I mean, there are cultural differences across the U.S. and we're not going to go into that, but it is a joy, right? That out of London, we can take off in our little single engine pistons, and in 25 minutes, you're having a baguette, in northern France. I mean, that's pretty incredible. If you're eating baguettes.
25 minutes? How fast is your
Well,
airplane?
you're south of London. Biggin Hill.
25 minutes gets me about 10 minutes. It gets me about 10 miles away in the car.
45 minutes? I don't know. It's not that far. Okay. Let's settle on not that far.
So tell us a little bit about
and that's truly it's quite incredible, and the opportunity that we have in general aviation with our airplanes to, again, with not much flying, might be 25, might be 50, still not much flying, to go to another country, or in a week you can cover a huge swath of Europe in our little single engine pistons. I mean, that's pretty incredible, right? And see such diverse cultures and have diverse experiences on the ground, and I always say, the thing for me for aviation, I love flying, don't get me wrong, right? But I love the destination, right? And I love the the experience of being somewhere different and not understanding and having to negotiate even just to leave the airport environment because I don't speak Croatian, right? And like, how do you get out of this airport without, getting the rubber glove treatment from a Croatian border control person or whatever? Like, it's like that whole experience is unique to being in Europe.
Was that traumatic?
Well, I was gonna say they never put the rubber glove on, but that doesn't make things better, does it?
I was going to say it sounds like it left a mark, but I won't do it.
No, Croatia was fine actually. If you're Croatian, it was excellent experience. Yeah,
Croatia's a great place to fly.
Lovely, yeah, and VFR very friendly, and it's only 500 nautical miles away, 580 or something, right? So it's really not even that far.
So top three in Europe, top three airports in Europe.
Top three airports?
Yeah, not excluding Biggin Hill.
Excluding Biggin Hill. I'm not. I can't answer.
Excluding Cranfield.
So I think I would rank them on experiences I've had at each of the airports. So I went to Sylt in northern Germany a couple of years ago, and the time that I had there and being on the beach, and you land right over the beach, and then it's just a wonderful northern German beach town with some raw fish sandwiches that we had, and they were fine. But that experience was fantastic. Also a destination for sure. Great hotels, and I love the mountains. So one of my favorites is actually Buchs in just south of Zurich. Now they don't have avgas, so it's a bit of a downer there, but it's where they make Pilatus. So it's a big runway, but you come in and you're flying right against these mountains. The approach is low. It's stunning and just picturesque beyond belief. So there's that one. And then my third one. I love the approach into Sion, also in Switzerland. It's 30 odd miles of an approach down starting at 14,000 feet. So it feels a little bit unnatural. So it's not the airport, but the approach. Does that count?
No.
Okay, so let me go for another third. Let's see. So San Sebastian. I'm not sure the airport is the destination there, but the town certainly is. Yeah, and if you haven't been, the airport's very friendly, right? It's GA friendly. They have fuel for you. It's not too expensive from my recollection, but it's the best food in Europe. So it's well worth a night away or maybe a weekend away.
Good. Given that we got an audience this time, I'm going to ask for a few quick shout outs. Not for your top three, but maybe your top one destination in Europe. One at a time, maybe.
So Venice Lido.
Venice Lido.
Oh, that's a good one too.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Sanen? Did somebody say San?
Samaden.
Yeah, the highest. Isn't it the highest in Europe? Yeah. I need to be checked out to go into there. Just for our legal protection. I know Ian's worried about it.
Yeah, absolutely.
But yeah, Samadan.
Any more? Corsica.
Oh, who's flown into Courchevel? I've never done it.
Courchevel, sorry. I was going to say there's more than one airport in Corsica.
Somebody's done it? Oh, that's awesome.
I think, Pete, you've done it, haven't you, Pete?
I renewed this year.
You renewed this year?
Cool. Yeah,
Did you renew in your airplane?
No, because of being on G-Bridge with a French instructor, it got complex with a UK license. So I used the French aeroplane. I had to join the French Aero Club, which is all very simple. They did it all for us.
Just takes money.
It wasn't expensive, actually. Very, very, very good. I flew with the guys down at Chambry, and they're very, very friendly Aero Club, and they took care of all the details. Basically, signed on the dotted line, did flying, easy.
Brilliant.
That's awesome.
I should have thought about that because I'm guessing that people at home watching this probably didn't hear any of that. But
no, it's kind of, yeah.
But sorry about that. But
Chambry Aero Club, they sorted you out.
They signed on a dotted line and just brilliant.
My favourite from the comment, only because I know how to say it. Tony B says Oberpfaffenpfaffen.
Dave? Give that a go.
Yeah, can you say that, Dave?
Well, if I can see. Good grief. Hang on a second. Oberpfaffenpfaffen.
There we go.
It's close enough.
Brilliant. So tell us a little bit about the jet. The SF,
The Vision
Cirrus,
jet?
the Vision jet.
It's basically like flying a drone. It's so simple. Yeah, it's not flying at all. No, this is super cool airplane. Has anybody been in it? Yeah. So that's a small show of hands, my colleagues and you guys. So has anybody been in an SR? A Cirrus SR 22 or 22T? Yeah. Okay. So there's a lot more of those. So it's exactly the same. Just you have a little bit more elbow space. You go a little faster. You have to think a little bit quicker on approach because it's a turbine and they take a little bit of time to make power adjustments, like a couple seconds. But it's super simple to operate. The avionics are the Garmin, the G3000, or what Cirrus calls the Perspective Touch. So very simple to use, very intuitive. Yeah, lovely machine, perfect for Europe. I'm really enjoying flying it and supporting. We have a couple clients who have a couple jets and supporting their ownership of it. It's very fun.
Okay, so we've done Europe. We've done a little bit about the jet. Let's talk about the UK, but in a non-Moni kind of way.
Yeah.
There's a whole load of really good things that we can do here that you can't do in America.
That's for sure.
And places that you can go that are amazing.
Yeah, instant coffee at most of the airports. It's a win.
I feel you're not taking this seriously, Philippe.
No, who's been to the Scilly Isles? Let's give the Scilly Isles a shout out.
Yeah,
All right.
absolutely.
All right.
Yeah, no, fantastic.
Fantastic place to go. It feels like you're flying into a Caribbean islands and it's just super. So there's a place in the UK. One of many that we're about to suggest.
Yeah, coming up. There's
Come again?
Two of you, by
Two? Yeah. Wow. You found each other.
There's coming up at the end of the month. I think it's the 27th of May. I think I saw on the forum that Paul Fraser Benison was talking about. If the weather's okay, there's going to be the fly-in on Morecambe Sands.
Oh wow!
So
that'd be cool.
If you want to go up and land on the sand, then give it a go. I'm sure the jet will be fine.
Yeah, the jet's fine.
for one
trailing link landing gear
for one time only.
Yeah,
one time only.
One time so.
Yeah. No, but I think that's coming up on the 27th, and I think there's a decision on whether it's actually going to go ahead or not being taken on the 25th. So that sounds like if I'm around, I'm going to go and head up to that. I think.
Chris Winch in the comments suggests Jersey.
Jersey is a great place to fly. It's got lots of cheap avgas. I think it's at £1.19 or something a litre at the moment. But no, great place to fly. Good suggestion, Chris.
Yeah, I think all the Channel Islands, are great destinations. In Alderney, just for a lunch stop, a lunch trip. It's again not too far away from here. Nice, nice runway, good facilities.
I got the biggest telling off I've ever had by air traffic at Alderney.
Oh no!
What did you do?
Well, I was trying to start the airplane and it wouldn't for a departure, and it wouldn't start for reasons I couldn't quite figure out. And I literally tried everything, and it was kind of parked on a slight slope. I thought, I wonder if there's I was just grasping at straws.
You're going to push start it?
And I thought maybe the fuel's on port. It doesn't really make any sense, but I was kind of out of ideas. I don't know. So I just got out of the airplane. Obviously, the engine wasn't running or anything, and pushed it back maybe 2 feet, 2 yards, possibly 2 meters.
Were you taxiing without permission?
Right, I got in and I got such an earful from this bloke. He said, "This is not some gross trip. This is just the same as Heathrow. You have to treat it the same as Heathrow. You didn't ask for permission to push your airplane back at all. I can't believe it. I'm going to issue an MOR." And it didn't stop until I changed frequency. It was just on and on and on.
Wow, you might be the first person.
And Derek Fage was there laughing his head off.
Has anyone ever been MOR'd for pushing?
I don't think he actually did it in the end.
That's crazy.
But it was like.
So I was a couple of years ago. Reminds me of a story. I was in Ibiza in a TBM, right? And so what they did is they parked us down this bit where all the small airplanes get parked, right?
The poor people parking.
Yeah. And because we were there for a couple of days, right? But they didn't have any facility. We couldn't taxi out from the position we were in, right? And so we had to get pushed out. And they didn't have a tow bar or they didn't have a tug that could push us for this little TBM, only for big boys or whatever. I don't know why, but they couldn't do it for whatever reason. So I got down on the wing and was pushing this TBM without any clearance. They didn't see,
You
had
didn't
no
get in
other
trouble.
idea.
Maybe it's just ordinary. I don't know.
Yeah.
He was probably right, strictly speaking, but
Yeah, I mean, I had to do a lot more than 2 yards as well. Yeah.
Another suggestion, Flying Gem says, Bolt Head is my favourite. Awesome clifftop view of Solcomon final.
yep.
Yeah.
No, Bolthead's good. Bolthead's good.
Glen Forsa, is that mentioned?
Glenforsa, Oban.
It's
Oban's
not,
quite nice.
but that is a good shot.
Glen Forsa is nice. And they have a lovely hotel there if you need a night away.
I think it was for sale. Does anyone know? Did it ever get sold, the Glenforsa Hotel? Not sold. So are they opening up for the season again? Fly-ins at the end of the month, isn't it? But there's no accommodation at the hotel anyway at the end of the month. So, and for those of you that have been around a long time, you'll know if you go to Glenforsa, there's a bench there. Keith was a fantastic moderator of the Flyer Forum. He sadly passed away a few years ago now, but there's a bench that was bought for him by Flyer Forum people. So you have to go and get a glass of Highland Park, which was his faivourite whiskey. I absolutely hate whiskey. I detest it. And you have to still go and buy a glass if I go there and go and drink it. It's like, I don't know how anyone ever drinks it, but just to raise a glass to Keith at Glenforsa if you go there.
I'm not sure if it's code, but Paul Wheel says the blonde hedgehog in Alderney is a great lunch stop.
Let's skip over that one.
Do you think there's people out there going, I wonder what we could get Ed to put up on the screen?
I think I may have just fallen for that one. I think I'm safe with Guernsey Air Rally. Nice.
I think so.
Yeah.
Is it Mark will know, is it the Blue Bray Hotel or something? Or Bray Hotel at Alderney? That's called Bray Beach, that was it. Yeah, that's quite nice there, isn't it? That's quite nice. Good. Right, well, I think we've done all those. We've done anything else. What should we talk about in our training philosophies?
Yeah, well, if we're not griping, I'm not sure.
You started it, not me.
Who has an FA license here? Yeah? Did you do it or like a standalone or was it standalone? All right. Piggyback? All right. So, yeah, the training philosophies are quite different, I think. Right. And so we're a flight school. We do both to some degree. The US FAA like syllabus and the knowledge test, it just feels a lot more practical. Am I fair? And the CAA one / YASA one, why are we answering questions about like 38,000 feet and what happens to weight and balance when
be positive
A320? Does anybody have an answer to that? Like we're not flying A320s at 38,000 feet, are we? Is anybody doing that? Getting a PPL? Like it doesn't make sense to me.
I have to say, I like the fact that in America, if you've lapsed, you just go and fly with an instructor, and they go, "You're okay to fly again."
Yeah, I don't think it's officially called the BFR anymore. It's some kind of.
It's a flight review.
A flight review, isn't it? But,
yeah. So the flight review, and I mean, I'm a great example, right? So I was working in the U.S. and flying in the U.S. and then I moved here and stopped flying. And I stopped flying for about 7 years, and before I came back into it, and all I did was fly for an hour with an instructor, and no, that's not true at all. I ended up doing probably like 25 hours with an instructor because I had forgotten so much. But it was entirely up to the instructor to determine when I was ready to then go take the airplane out, right? And there was no syllabus, there was no flight test. There was the instructor putting his name on my license saying, yeah, there's a completed flight review. And the responsibility is now, between him and I, well, I mean, that was then, between him and I then for me to be safe, right? And it was entirely in his control. And I thought that was a really sensible approach, right? And the instrument rating is the same idea, right? If you're current with the instrument rating and you're doing approaches every day, what is the value, I guess, is my question. What is the value of being examined every year for that instrument rating when actually you are current every year, right? Now, should you have regular training events? Yeah, for sure, right? But those training events are what should be pushing you. The instrument rating renewal is not what's pushing me in my flying anyway.
To be fair, on the PPL side of things, I'm going to go out on a limb. I'm going to say that I think the current licensing review may well encompass something that's not quite as complex as we currently have which is like the 12 hours in the last 12 months of 24-month period, blah blah blah, etc. I suspect
That's
that it will. I don't know clearly, but I'm going to go out on a limb and say that's what will happen. And if it's not, I'm going to go out on a limb and say they missed an opportunity. Right, it's coming up towards time where you can escape. But before we do, has anyone out there got any questions for Philippe, either in the comments or anyone in the audience? And if you got it in the audience, I'll try and repeat it for everyone at home. Anyone want to know what he did for those 7 years when he wasn't flying? I'm quite interested. Was it a sentence or something?
Crying under a rock, missing flying.
Was it 7 years in Tibet?
7 years in London. It's basically the same thing.
In London.
Okay. River Rock reminds us that the Glenforce of flying is May 27th to 29th. In the comments.
Good.
Yeah, if you want to ask questions, I'm very happy. I'm on Instagram, Pilot Pullman, and Echelon Air is the business, so you can find me there. But love talking about airplanes, so feel free to reach out.
Alternatively, you'll be at the bar.
And I'll be at the bar. Yeah, for those lucky enough to be here.
At this time, it's tradition that we say something, play a little video, and then our guest stands up and walks away. Thank you very much, Philippe.
Thanks, guys.
Thanks, Philippe.
Look at that. It must be time for Fantasy Hangar.
Yeah.
I've just played it.
I know, I saw.
Do you want me to play it again?
Well, I think everyone got the benefit of sticking the mic at the laptop for the sound.
High tech.
I have to say, I'm feeling excited about Fantasy Hangar with a live audience. So I think it'll be between live audience and all our viewers in the comments. So Fantasy Hangar tonight, we decided that we would think a little bit differently, and we would go for the one aeroplane. So putting aside everything we've picked in the 3 years of Fantasy Hangar, we would say, okay, if we could only have one aeroplane. Now, back when we did Fly Alive, we touched on this, but I think we've all got different suggestions this time. And this is being realistic about, it's still fancy, but it's being realistic. It's like if someone said you have one aeroplane now for the rest of your life, what's it going to be?
It's almost like our Fantasy Hangar was built at Newquay Airport, and they just said you can't have that big hangar anymore or that space. You've just got to have one.
Harsh,
but it's true.
But true. Yeah. So who's
Cranfield?
first?
Well, they said you can't have any airplanes at all.
I know. Yeah.
I don't know. You choose.
Oh gosh, Johnny.
Right. Okay. So I've picked something. First of all, I thought the Twin Pioneer. Anyone remember that? Scottish Aviation Twin Pioneer. Yeah. Beautiful thing, but it's not very practical. So I thought, well, I want something that can kind of go nearly everywhere. You can stick stuff on it, so floats, skis, bush wheels, something that will cruise well, something you can put the family in. So I've ended up with the Cessna 185. Whoa, I've already lost one vote. I figured
it's as bad when the audience grumble at you.
That wasn't even a grumble. That was a noise of disgust.
It's like a wince.
Yeah, normally you can't hear it.
No,
but it probably happens all the time. It's like, oh God, not Johnny again.
Yeah.
What's wrong with that? I mean,
what did you say? There's still time to change it.
How about that one?
Well, interestingly, of all of them, it would be this one, which is the Bushliner 1850. And we were trying to work out why have they called it the 1850, but that must be some legal...
Probably because Cessna will go, did you call it a 185?
Yeah.
They'll sue you. Yeah.
So they've added a zero on the end.
This is a remanufactured one, isn't it? No, it's not even that.
No.
It's a completely new build.
Yeah, kit.
Wow.
With things like 48-inch cargo door, 1,700-pound useful load. So it's a bit dull, but look at there's an addition to the fin. So the fin is absolutely enormous.
That is a big fin. I will give you that.
That'll be fun in a Ponty crosswind.
So are you essentially saying that you picked your Fantasy Hangar based on the fact it has a big fin?
Yes.
And a large cargo door. And flips. Yes.
I think Jaws had a big fin as well.
Jaws had a big fin, yeah.
Come on, who's next then, Ed?
Let's go with Dave. Now, before you see Dave's suggestion, can anyone guess what Dave's aeroplane is? No, there are a few suggestions of Luscombe, but I can tell you it is not a Luscombe.
No, I did contemplate the Luscombe. I did actually contemplate a Luscombe Phantom because it has a radial engine up front, and I thought that would be nice. But I just thought back to one of the most enjoyable days flying I ever did, which was a flying instructor called Phil O'Donoghue, and Phil had then an almost brand new Cat 10B. We were flying it from Great Oakley Airfield in Essex, I think that is. And anyway, I was flying and I did takeoff after takeoff, landing after landing. Phil was doing something else with handheld GPSs. And I had this fantastic day flying a Cat 10B. And the reason is it's just so easy to fly, so nice to fly. The controls are really well harmonized. You can flow around, and it's got a stick. It's 2 seats side by side, which is the perfect format as far as I'm concerned. Anyway, it's got a 180 horsepower engine, so it can go at a reasonable speed. It's got quite good range. It's got quite a big roomy cockpit, so you can put stuff in there. And of course, it's aerobatic. It's aerobatic to +6, -4.5 G. That's enough for me. I don't particularly want to do 10 G upside down turns and things like that. So that's enough aeros.
Is that a common aerobatic maneuver, a 10G upside down turn?
Well, I've done some aeros with ultimate high, Mark Greeners, and at the end of it, I did have to stop because my stomach was going. So anyway, I don't want to do that anymore, but nice, gentle aeros. And it's an aeroplane you could use for aeros, you can use for bimbling, you can go places in it because it's got a decent range. It's a lovely aeroplane.
Did you know? And so interestingly,
you know what that means?
Oh no! The French, because the French Air Force used the Cap 10 as a trainer.
Yeah.
And the French, I've heard it said a number of times, but the French Air Force guys say if you can fly the Cap 10 well, then that sets you up to fly everything in the French Air Force arsenal at the time.
Well, in that case.
So you're now qualified to fly a jet.
I don't think so. Somehow. Never mind.
That was written by the marketing department
at Moodry.
Yes.
So, Ian, how about you? Well, I can do your photo. Let me do that for you.
Oh, well, there were 2 photos.
I know. Well, we're going to put the one up for comedy value that Johnny set you up for.
Okay. Last time we did this, I went for the 182 because obviously I got a 182 and I spent a long time flying the 182 all over the place.
And you made a beautiful little video.
I made a nice little video, which I couldn't find, unfortunately. It was kind of like that Radio 2 in the afternoon music, like. But you remember when they used to do that thing where it was a bit of a tragedy, Anyway, it's a bit like I just couldn't diss the 182 because it was. But it's time to move on. And if the one thing the 182 could do with. Oh dear!
The audience is now laughing. You can't hear that.
Yeah. Well, it's not a VTOL Bonanza. As much as I like the look of a VTOL Bonanza,
it's yes.
I never want to own one.
There we go.
However, I reckon a G36 has got to come pretty damn close to the perfect all-rounder. It'll cope on grass, it'll cope on hard, it'll got a nice turn of speed, 6 seats, a big opening door at the back that you can take off. It's clearly the Bonanza's I think it's the longest aircraft in continual production, isn't it?
It is more than 70 years now.
More than 70 years, even though
now. Wow.
Textron are not actually selling hardly any at the moment. And there's probably a whole load of people in the C-suite there going, "We got to can this Bonanza,"
but no one will allow it.
No one wants to kill off the Bonanza. So I reckon that's pretty close to the.
That is a great do everything.
It is a great do everything.
And people forget that when they made the Bonanza in 1947, one of the things the marketing department said, we need to put big tyres on it so farmers like it. So actually, if you look at a Bonanza, it's got quite big main gear.
It's got a load of farmers following it. Go, I like you. Just as an aside, I think actually the Cirrus is probably, in terms of single engine airplanes, the Cirrus is probably a better package in terms if you only want 4 seats but the thing with the Bonanza is you get that extra space, plus you can take the door off at the back and use it as a photo platform.
Always useful.
Which is always useful. And I think the other thing is, as much as I love the Cirrus, the thought of going into a sort of slightly boggy, damp grass runway in a Cirrus is not really the thing to do.
Yeah, and a Bonanza is just, if we had a cool wall, in the style of Top Gear, Bonanza would be uber cool, I think.
Yeah, well, maybe we should get one in our new studio.
Maybe, yeah, I think that's an idea.
We'll have to come up with a new name though, because no one wants to copy Top Gear.
No.
I need to go and find some restaurants and beat up people who haven't made steak.
So that just leaves
Ed
me.
wins.
And we'll give this to you now. So before I do my aeroplane, we're going to send Dave on a bit of a rove. And so if any of you have got your perfect fancy aeroplane, your one aeroplane fancy hangar, we'll be coming to you for suggestions. But me, I went for the Van's RV15. This is going to be their new high wing aeroplane. It was revealed last year. I'm not that big into aerobatics now, but it's nice to have something that's got a reasonable turn of speed. This promises around about 140 knots. You can throw a bunch of stuff in it. I do quite like a high wing, and I like being able to go into strips and things like that. And I like building, so I quite fancy doing this. So I can make it, and I like a bit of tinker in the hangar. And
you built 2 aircraft so far, haven't you?
And they generally the first one took 2 years, and then I said the next one that'll take 2 years as well, and that one took 7. So
this one's going to take.
It'll be a bit like when Johnny says we'll be doing the 30th anniversary. It's like it's nearly finished the RV15. So that would be mine. So
okay. So the original plan is who's
got a fancy hangar that they're willing to share with us. There must be a few of you in the audience.
1, 2, 3.
Carol,
okay.
We're coming to you first.
Gradually step up, because so the people at home can get that. So wander as far as you can with the lead, because we couldn't get the radio mic to work without.
And also, it's a bit dark over there. Here are some lights, so if you need to come up.
We might need the different camera choice. We might need the.
Oh yeah.
Stick there.
Look at the big one.
There we go.
Oh, all right, okay.
That one there, the one that's looking at
Oh, look, there's millions of them.
I'd
Look
go,
behind you.
you ready?
Yes.
I'd go for de Havilland DHC2 Beaver.
Why?
It's very flexible. It's got character, and I don't think any of your aircraft have got character. They're all lovely and practical. But no, there's no wow factor when you
Fighting
land.
talk.
You need some wow factor when you land. And Beaver, you can do floats, you can do skis. I don't know what the short field performance is like on them, but I imagine very good. There you go.
They're a bit slow.
It's going to be good.
They're a bit slow.
Slow. So what?
Yeah. Fair enough.
Okay. And an otter as well. De Havilland otter would be nice. And I don't know anything about them at all, but they just seem like a sensible, practical aircraft that can do anything, really. It's nobody's thought about.
Very good.
Fair enough.
Has anyone
Okay,
else got
thank
a
you.
fancy hangar suggestion? Gentleman back there, come on up.
Yep.
I feel like I should say, what's your name and where'd you come from?
What's your number?
A Lysander.
Right.
Oh.
Jason.
Jason, right.
Rare, cool, old, just like me.
Yeah.
Yeah. I lost after a Lysander. I'm not.
A Lysander's good.
I'm not sure it fulfills the practical.
Yeah,
although if you need to go and drop people off and pick them up at night in French fields,
It's perfect.
Yeah.
Yeah,
it's ideal.
I guess so. Yeah, that's going to get Border Force really excited.
That would be so funny. Wouldn't it?
Anyone else?
Go on, be brave.
There must be someone else.
I think coming up here is probably the bits putting people off.
Okay, anyone wants to? Go on then.
Come on, Rob.
Okay.
Cherokee 6.
What?
Cherokee 6.
All right.
Yeah, fantastic. I learned on the PA-28 and, 6 seats, practical, fly anywhere, and rarer now-a-days.
Yeah. We didn't catch your name, did we?
Rob.
Rob.
Yep.
Cherokee.
Very good.
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay.
No, it's
So I'm not surprised to say. Have we got anyone else? No. Okay. Right. So it's unsurprisingly, it would appear none of us are winners. However,
Carol, don't tell me Carol as well.
yeah, it does appear like Carol is. Carol wins. Carol wins. Oh, there is an Ian wins. There we go.
Thank you, David.
Yes. Sorry, Dave. Oh, there's an Ed wins. Dave wins. Ed wins. Oh, no, Ed. I was expecting RV10. Cap 10. A close second. What's
Well,
we
what's
need to
first
find
then?
out what Claire B's. Oh, no, there's a few Ed wins. I'm with Ed. Eds will have trousers. I do like a trousered undercarriage. People do know that.
They do.
But yes. So, suggestions. PC. Paul Wheel says PC12. Nick Orchard says Lizzie would win, but practicality, possibly not. Carol wins. I'm with Paul Wheel. What? Because of the hedgehog at Alderney. Rob wins. Ian wins. Carol wins. I think maybe for pure audience participation, we will nominate Carol as our fancy hanger winner.
Well done, Carol.
Very good choice.
And shockingly, unless we're doing events, that's actually on time.
It is. Are there any events that we haven't covered going on? Private Flyer. When's Private Flyer coming up? That is
Next Friday.
Not this weekend. Next weekend, isn't it? So Friday. Is it Friday, Saturday? Friday, Saturday, Saturday.
Dave has a list.
You're the specialist.
Yeah. So 13th of May, LAA at home day at Western. Also on the 13th, Stoll Open Day at Slape. This weekend, 13th, 14th, Vintage Aircraft Club flying at Bodmin. 13th, 14th, Spring flying at New Farm. It's a place called Piddington near Northampton. And on the 16th of May, flower bombing at Wickham.
Excellent.
Nice.
And Private Flyer.
And Private Flyer. Private Flyer's 19th and 20th. Yep, next week.
Dave and I will be at Private Flyer on the Friday.
Yep.
Dave's bringing his dog.
There's a chance to meet Jack.
Meet Jack. Meet Jack the Jack Russell. It's not Jack Russell, is he? It's
Parson Russell.
Parson Russell.
Yeah. Yeah, don't stroke his back legs.
Good.
Okay.
In that case, I think that's about it. So it just remains to say thank you very much, team. Thank you very much for everybody out there who watched, and particularly thank you to everyone here who came along for this fantastic evening. And thank you to Philippe and everybody else. Thank you very much.
And Skydemon.
And Skydemon.